Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we're going to do another one of our quick questions. The format is I have a question, Patrick has no idea what the question is, so all of the responses will be live. Are you ready, Patrick?
Off the cuff, from the hip, hit me.
Who is the most iconic horror villain of all time?
Oh, that's a question I would be asking you as the
Yeah,
horror dude of the two of us. Okay,
you can go through, there's a
horror
fair.
villain.
Yeah, because,
So villains include creatures that are just chasing you for no idea
yeah,
or
it
no
has,
particular
yeah,
reason.
it can, yeah. So it's not just monster or poltergeist or it's essentially any of
Okay.
the villains of a horror movie.
Iconic or scariest?
If you could give the answer to both if you want. So iconic is
Oh,
the
fuck.
question,
Yeah, I gotta
but
stop doing this to myself. Yeah, okay. Well,
iconic is the question, but scariest can also be.
okay. See, iconic, I think, is easier to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, iconic, it's going to be either your Freddy, your Jason, your Mike Myers. For some of the newer generations, it might be a Jigsaw or whatever the guy behind
Art.
Jigsaw is called. Yeah.
There'll be Art for Terrifiers, Billy
See, he is
Jigsaw.
the horror guy. And then you've got It and a few other things like Pennywise the Clown. But I think iconic to be an icon, I'm gonna say it's a toss up between. See, I think Mike Myers is your prototype here, but so is Jaws. So you've in the realms of unrelenting monsters, I don't think like Predator or even the alien from Alien,
Yeah,
the Xenomorph. I think Jaws is more iconic. So what I define as icon, that's it.
yeah,
Something all around the world, they'd be like Jaws
yeah.
or horror. Freddy Krueger, I don't know if the reach is there anymore. I think I've started to realize that Nightmare on Elm Street was generational. The more I talk to people, but I think Halloween kind of transcends that a little bit more.
Okay.
Pop culture wise, I think an old hockey mask. Sure, most people don't even know that where Jason was in the first movie versus where Jason ended up being the star of the show. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and answer your question pretty quickly on that one and say it's not Pinhead from Hellraiser. It's not any of that. Some great imagery there.
Mm-hmm.
Great imagery in horror, like brilliantly terrifying imagery in some cases.
Mm.
I'm gonna pick Mike Myers,
Okay.
but or just the shape, as I should call him, like the shape,
Yeah.
because that's really what I think is iconic, not necessarily the Michael Myers story. But the scariest, hmm. Somebody saw a post and talked to me about it the other day, so I can't claim credit for this. And literally the other day, I mean yesterday, they were like, "God, how good is Edge of Tomorrow?" I was like, "Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite movies. Love that." And then, like, when you think about it, I saw a thing online. Somebody was talking about going, those mimics, those creatures were just the scariest because they were just unrelenting.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, from a terrifying point of view, they were just incredible non-stop killing machines.
But is it a horror monster?
No,
It'll be
not
an
a horror
action.
monster.
It'll be an action movie star. So I would agree that
Not a horror monster.
the mimics are terrifying in their form and their actions and stuff. But I don't,
Yeah.
as part of the horror genre.
Then I'm gonna be cheeky and I'm gonna revert back to something I know. I think the most iconic and terrifying in equal measure is actually the xenomorph from Alien.
It's a good answer.
Because when you get something that has a mouth inside a mouth, I'm terrified of scorpions, and that thing uses its tail in the same way a scorpion does, like built for all my terrors. And then someone says, "Oh yeah," and if you do manage to hurt it, the other thing that naturally scares everybody, but also me, because I've never understood how does acid get contained by anything and then
Yeah.
burn everything else? I understand chemistry, but still, a central part of my human is like, ugh. So yeah, making a monster that's like that,
Yeah.
the way it gestates, the way it's born, the way it
Yeah.
gets in you, the fact that if you hurt it, it's going to be acid
It's going to be a
blood
problem.
pissing on you. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a terrifying icon right there. The Xenomorph from Aliens, Alien 3, and that's where I'm gonna leave that because the rest of them are all more complicated in my feelings.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I would. So for iconic, I would have to pick. I'd have to pick Dracula because he is the most iconic. But my
Hmm.
choice would probably be, I say Ghostface, because
Oh,
Ghostface is one of those weird ones that brought a lot of people into like horror
yeah,
because it's like a parody horror movie kind of thing,
yeah.
and it brought because it sets out the rules of horror and stuff like that. I think a lot of people will show their origins of their horror love from Scream,
With Scream,
and then went
yeah.
back to like Mike Myers and stuff like that.
Little
Um,
honorable mention for Freddy Krueger in the first Scream too. By the way, just on Dracula, I don't ever think of Dracula as horror. Weirdly,
I
there's
know,
something too literary for me in my head about Dracula for it to be horror. But same thing with Frankenstein and Wolfman and all the rest, the classic creatures. But it's a good one. I'm glad it got mentioned. But yeah, I think Ghostface from Scream.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
I think it's a lot of because I think it's the early 2000s. It's I say a lot of people found their origins from there and then spread out to both sides of like the like the 90s below horrors and then the new horrors and stuff like that. Scariest movie I've
sure.
seen in a long time, and I will say this now, is still The Conjuring. The first
Okay.
Conjuring. Still terrified of, but of course, Event Horizon has to get an also mention here.
I was just about to say, there's no way this video is ending without you mentioning Event Horizon. So I'm picking the Xenomorph who could kick Ghostface's ass, by the
Oh
way, just
yeah,
from a terror point of view.
oh yeah,
But no, I completely get the reasoning behind your answer. And Paul, another great question, um, especially for the month that's in it.
yeah.
Because what month is it?
Spooktober.
My work here is complete.
All right, guys. Comment down below what you think is the most iconic horror villain. I'm saying villain as well because it's an easier kind of a wider net. Um, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and share us out. But otherwise, I've been Paul,
I've been Patrick.
and we've been here to say, see you
See you
later.
next time.